how do we gain true control in our life? How do we stop letting these old patterns control us, consistently falling back into the old habits, not being able to sustain something like a meditation habit or going to the gym or eating healthy every single day? How do we truly gain control in our business life and consistently take action with persistence, and then not let these old patterns of staying comfortable in a loop control our everyday decisions? Okay, here's the key. The ultimate key to gain control in your life is to deal with the unconscious thought patterns that have a certain momentum that are controlling your life in a way that you may not realize, okay? Because every single moment that you do not have awareness or observation of the thinking patterns that are going on in your head, every single moment, those thought patterns are controlling your life unconsciously. And so when the thought patterns are not being observed and they're still happening there in the background, just because you're not conscious of them doesn't mean that they're not happening in the background. And so to explain this a little bit deeper, become aware of your breath right now. Become aware of the sensation of your breath. Just a second ago, you were unconscious of your breathing. Now you're conscious of your breathing. So in the same way, there's a lot of unconscious thought patterns that are going on in your head, and that every single moment you are unconscious of them, you are at the mercy of those thought patterns, and they're actually controlling your life in a lot of ways that you may not realize, okay? Some people call these unconscious thought patterns the ego, okay? That's a word that we use. Some people use the word the ego. Eckhart Tolle uses this word to explain what it means to be sucked in the content of your mind unconsciously and not have awareness. Because when you have awareness, it's not the ego anymore. It's just a thought form that you are observing. And then so to gain true control in your life means to have awareness of these thought forms and stick with that awareness and observe the content in your mind and see what it does. See how the content of the mind works. Because what the mind does and what the thinking patterns tend to do is that they have a certain momentum, and they've been kind of going in a certain loop and a momentum for the last 10, 20 years, however long you've had these thought patterns. And that when you try to change a habit in your life and gain control, like meditation, going to the gym, eating clean, what happens is this momentum and these thoughts kind of continue to flow in the way that they've been flowing. You're going to feel like a pull to go back to those old thought patterns, okay? And that's what the ego does. It's very deceiving. You might have success doing meditation for a week, 2 weeks, and then what happens is the old ego patterns try to suck you back in, okay? And you can't gain control. And here's the problem, is that when you don't have awareness of your thinking, you're never truly in control of your life. You're never truly in control because those thought patterns that you're not conscious of are controlling you. Who is really in control? Is it the thought patterns that you were unconscious of, or is it you? And who are you, and who is controlling those thought patterns? Okay, this is very deep stuff, because I want you to see the significance that unless you have awareness of the ego, or in other words, the unconscious thought patterns that are going on in your head, unless you bring awareness to those, they will forever be controlling every decision that you make. Every decision that you make. And these decisions are always grounded in anxiety, fear, and worry, because you're living in the past and the future. When you're living in the ego, when you're living in the thoughts unconsciously, you're literally you're not living in the moment. You're literally projecting into the past and into the future and into the past every moment of your day. You don't see the day for what it truly is. Think about that for a second. How crazy is that? None of us are truly living in the moment. We're always seeking for the future and then thinking about the past. And then the moment let's say you have a fun experience, okay? Let's say you have a fun experience where you're having some fun. Because you're living in the unconscious thought patterns, or in other words, the ego, while you're having that fun experience, you're actually in fear for that situation to be over. You can't even truly, experience the joy of that moment, because unconsciously you're projecting yourself like, oh, when is this going to be over? And man, I really want this to keep happening. Like, you feel impatience, you feel dis-ease, you're not truly happy. And then when something bad is going on, you're just seeking for the future for when that good thing is going to come. When is this bad thing going to be over? You're just consistently in resistance and fear and anxiety. And so how are you in control when you're in that state of consciousness? How is it that you think you're in control if these unconscious thought processes and all these patterns that you've developed over the years are making you make decisions from fear? How is that? That's not true control the way I see it. True control is to have awareness of the thinking and break those patterns until there's nothing left, until your true self is left, where you find out who you really are beyond the conditioning of the thought patterns that are going on in your head. That's how it is, really. That's just how it is. Like, if you want to truly gain control, you have to get in alignment with the present moment and get into alignment from a deeper place that has nothing to do with the thought patterns that are going on in your head. And see the thought patterns just patterns, not who you truly are. Those thought patterns are not who you truly are. They're just thoughts. They're just thoughts and they're nothing else. And isn't it kind of crazy how you may believe that the thoughts in your head are truly who you are? Think about that for a second. You say, I can't live with myself any longer. I can't live with these thoughts. I can't live with this situation. Like, bro, it's just thoughts in your head, man. You don't have to take them so seriously. And when I say you don't have to take them so seriously, I mean you can bring awareness to them and literally realize in your experience that your thoughts are just thoughts and that they don't have to have this pull and this emotional fueling. Like, when I say you don't have to take your thoughts seriously, I'm not trying to be like motivational or like trying to give you inspiration. Like, yeah, don't believe in the voice in your head. Like, that's how it might come off. But what I'm trying to tell you is that literally your thoughts are only thought forms. And they don't have to have an experience on your state of consciousness whatsoever. And that you can get to a level of being where the thoughts don't have to have a negative impact on your emotions anymore. And now you can gain true control in your life because those unconscious thought patterns that you think are who you are not going to be defining every decision that you make. You're going to be making a decision from mindfulness and presence that is going to be much more efficient if you're not attached to all this thinking that's going on in your head. And so that is how you gain true control in your life. You don't get rid of the ego, but you observe the ego until it just becomes thought forms that don't have to control you. Because the ego only becomes the ego when you lack awareness. Every single moment that you are not aware of your thinking and you were unconscious of it, you are being controlled almost by an external force. Okay, think about that. That's all I have for you today. If you like this kind of content, then consider hitting that subscribe button and that notification bell because I post a video every single day. Have yourself a great day and see you in the next video.